All right. Welcome to the Church of Chainmail. I'm your host, Sean. I run MailleWerX.com, where I sell chainmail themed apparel and accessories. And we engage in the discipleship of the divine ring. There we go. That was fast. That needs to be in my new intro. I would type that out, but that would take too long. Let's see here. That one viewer. That's probably me. No, I want to like. Alright, what the hell was it that I said? I'm gonna have to rewatch the video. It was... no, I don't want to include that part. We'll just do that. Blah, blah, blah. Hey Joe, how you doing? Things are good. We'll just do that. That's a dumb title, but all my titles are dumb. Alright. Let's see here. Let's make sure the camera works. Frank, are you alive? Come here. Oh yeah, that works pretty well. Alright. So tonight we're going to continue on finishing up this dice bag. I call it a dice bag. It's not much of one. It's... I don't know. I think what I need to do is take it back apart, to be quite honest. Because it's just kind of this... It's like half a dice bag. At best. Right? Like, I need to undo the seams I did. Make these 45-degree seams not so long. That way we get a narrower base and more height. Tonight, I'm working on this dice bag. Answered, yeah. And here's the problem. I don't have enough rings to finish this, so I have to make a dice bag out of these rings, right? Like, this is it. This is all I got. And the problem is that the base is too narrow, or the base is too wide, right? And the top is not... What do you call it? The top is not... narrow enough, or tall enough rather. So we're gonna finish what we started working around the top edge here, and then we're gonna go back and adjust things, because like I said, these are all the rings I have. Gotta make it work, and I want it to look somewhat good. I don't mind taking it apart and fixing it. Right? Actually, you know what? I should not do this. Let's take this back out. Okay. Because we're gonna have to remove them anyway, right? I think that's the big concern. All right, so we're gonna take this all back apart, narrow it down a little bit and then make it taller, and I think that will solve our problem. I can get a grip on these things. Alright. I might not be able to do this. It's like I have made a few dice bags before. Never any in the traditional style. This is kind of... Oh man, wow, did I screw that up? Okay, it's okay. Probably have to take those rings out anyway. Maybe what I should do is start at the seam next time. What's the middle? This is all stainless steel. I don't know the alloy. I think the alloy is 304 stainless steel, but don't quote me on that. Okay, is that correct? No. It's one more ring over. With rings, it's all about leverage. So, these are 16 gauge 1/4 inch rings, and they're not difficult to open, but they will wear you out over time. You can't do this all night. Okay. Now, okay, that doesn't matter because I'm going to be taking them out anyway. This time, I'm going to find the seam and go from there. This should be the right one. And then, if I remove this row of rings, it should pop out and be proportional. Except, where'd it go? There it is. So, and taking it apart, you know, it sucks, but it's like, I'd rather have it done correctly than some squat looking dice bag. So we'll undo all the seams, and then we'll line everything back up. Trim everything down, remove some of the seams. It's just too short and squat for a dice bag. Alright, that looks like it worked out nicely, going from where the seams connect. Yeah, I'm opening up some seams, because we're going to make the whole dice bag a little narrower. Ooh, you know what? It's really hot down here. Hang on just a second. There we go. I have one of those window fans, and it barely moves any air. Among all the rings, how can you tell the seam? Okay. I don't have a camera good enough to really exemplify this, but this is the seam, the 45-degree seam, and it moves into regular 4-in-1, right? A lot easier to see in person. Hey Barb, how are ya? And right now I'm not too concerned about pulling out like the exact row that it correlates with. I just want to get them separated back out because we're gonna be removing some of the seam to make it taller. Probably about 3 rings ought to do it. Come on, Neil. Get out of there. Let go. Thank you. I'm doing all right. Had a good day. And it helps. He wove. I wove to this point, unwove it, rewove it, seamed it, unseamed it. To recount it, so he has some. Yeah. I've done this before. I've definitely had to correct my mistakes before. So this is not new, except I just lost my place. There we go. I'm gonna do 2 things, right? I'm going to reduce the size of the 45-degree seams on the bottom, thus making it narrower and taller. And then I'm going to add some 45-degree seams on the top, I think. Maybe just like 1 or 2 rows. I think that'll get this to work with the rings I have. Normally I would just order more rings, but if you didn't watch last night's stream, I explained that the reason I am not... This was originally supposed to be a coif, and the reason I'm not continuing it is because I can no longer get those rings, so I'm trying to get it off my desk. See something like a bricklayer can tell you where the worst bricks are in this wall of 10,000 bricks. YouTube's better for you? Nice. Yeah, some people get better video quality on Twitch, some people get better video quality on Facebook, and some people get better video quality on YouTube, and I have no idea why, what the secret is. Barb, did you switch over to YouTube because I was buffering or anything, or is it just better video quality? don't know how much longer I'm going to be on YouTube. I'm not freely and openly and discuss things, and the rate they're going, I don't know how much you're going to be able to say much longer. It's kind of absurd. Hey Rick, how you doing? All right. Okay. So what we want to do is, I think these were 6 or 7 rings. It's like 6. How many? 6. 6. 6. Okay, 1, 2. Okay. We're going to take this down just 2 rows, all the way around. Remove some of the edges of each of these petals, I guess. I don't know what else to call them. And then we'll stitch it back up, and hopefully it will be, well, it will be narrower and taller, and that'll be more chainmail condom dice bag looking thing rather than like the, I don't know, the mushroom cap looking thing we had going on. I think that should fix it to the best of my ability. Hanging out, watching streams, weaving half Persian 3-in-1 sheet bracelets. Nice. I have, oh my gosh, let me see here. Is that over there? Ah. I have a giant, like, strap of half Persian 4-in-1. That is correct, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. The problem that I have with it is that I'm afraid that it's really only good for, it's made of I think it's 16 gauge 3/8 stainless for the aspect ratio to do half Persian 3-in-1. But I never want to use it for anything because I'm just afraid those rings are too big, really, without like welding them, for any type of piece that you would want to use. I don't know, say for a guitar strap, which I think is what, or a belt I was going to use a bunch of them for. First time trying it, saw someone post one and got inspired. Nice. Sorting out all the goodies you got yesterday. 144 bags to verify, then open and clean. Nice. I have 3 orders on the way. One has cleared customs, and I don't know where the other 2 are. So, alright. Now we have to standardize all these pedals. So, let's see here. This is an easy one. So, did you get 144 bags of rings? Excuse me. On a ship sitting around, probably? No, all of my stuff should be on a flight. And if it's sitting around, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem with it not being here already, right? If they're... if any of the stuff I ordered is on a ship, that's a huge problem. But even with that, there's still no one to process orders on a global scale, so it's everything's taking forever. You know, it is what it is. All right. The whole shipping industry right now has been screwed for the entire 18 months of all this BS going on. And I know that because every single order doesn't go right into each other. Okay. Oh, those are way off. Weird. You got some claps that have to be seen on a boat. Jeez. 144 bags. That's a lot of aluminum. Sounds like you're gonna have a lot of fun with those. Yeah, the last couple things I ordered came in a quick, timely manner. So, I was not expecting these delays. That's okay, I don't need everything right this second. So, I'm not particularly concerned. The next inlay starts tomorrow? Sweet. Yeah. Love it, I love it. Oh my gosh. Let go my ego. So, can you tell us what the next inlay is, or do we have to watch and see? I'm quite ready to get on to the next inlay, the Finnegan's Wake one, the green, gold, and silver one. I've got it sitting right here. I'm ready to tackle that one, especially after finishing up the Raiders inlay. I just had such a huge mental block on that Raiders inlay that I was able to work through on stream, which was really awesome. And my friend just got it the other day and he loves it. And I had the whole thing set up for him. I bought a dowel and some wall hangers for him so he didn't have to go and shop for those. It was already ready to. It was all ready to go for him. All right. See, that's really what we want. Probably gonna be wait 2 weeks before you say what it is, but some might know once they see the colors and see what you've talked about in the past. Sure. Alright, let's see here. That's perfect. This needs to be taken out. Okay, we'll keep going around and then we'll match everything up. What is this? Is this a row that needs to be taken off? It looks like it. We'll check in a second. Okay, so who here has seen District 9? Missed the first part of my stream. It's the same bag that you've had on. Yes, this is the same bag that I've had on, what, one or two streams now. I am taking a huge amount off of this. It's okay, we're gonna get it all figured out. I was working on this one last night. I don't know how many streams I've been working on it so far. Just kind of trying to stream when I can and trying to get a regular schedule back. You've seen District 9 many times. Alright, did you know that there's a District 10 coming out? This is stream 3 of the dice bag? Yeah, I don't know. No clue. I just make the chainmail. I don't make any actual decisions around here. Or know what's going on. I'm just told what to do. Alright. Okay. So, I found out today that there's a District 10 coming out. If you have never seen District 9, it's a really interesting take on one director's understanding of, I think he said, like, the dynamics of South Africa, I think, was kind of how he went about explaining it. And so, I'm excited for District 10. I think it's really good. I thought District 9 was really good. Interesting. You hadn't heard that? You'd be willing to give District 10 a view? Yeah. You keep count based on what you finished while watching? Nice. Alright. So, and then I realized that, what was the other movie? Oh my god. The director's name is like Neil Blomkamp. And he's from South Africa. I think I need to take that off. I don't know. 235. Yeah. And then there were a couple other films they were talking about. I guess he did one called Demonic. and they used some type of three-dimensional. Okay, they had something on their table, right? And they had cameras all around it, and they took three-dimensional pictures of it, and then they used a gaming engine to render a couple of the scenes, right? And so I really want to know what that looks like. Where was I? So, you like 9 pretty good? Actually just watched it again like 3 or 4 weeks ago and trying to get to sleep at night. This is the same director that did Chappie. So, District 9, Chappie, kind of similar themes. Actually, I enjoyed Chappie a lot. I could not stand one of the main characters in it, but I was informed later that that is how he always is, and there's no changing him. And the movie almost didn't get made because he just wanted to like play himself. And the guy's name is like Ninja or something, and he's a rapper in South Africa. I don't know, something like that. One new like. Linda Dallas has liked the stream. Thank you, Linda. Alright. Anyway. So I posted earlier about some of the cool stuff that's done with Chainmail. Right? I think we got, what, 3 people watching? I think most everyone watching probably knows or has seen the links to what I'm talking about. And I'm trying to think of other examples. So, the examples I had were, it's used to help cool buildings. It's used Neptunic shark suits. It was experimented as a Mars rover wheel, and it there's a type of like chainmail fencing that's used against landslides. And I don't know off the top of my head if I am aware of any other like big application for chainmail. So if you know of one, please let me know. Shrapnel blast protection of glass in buildings. Is it like you have 2 sheets of glass and there's chainmail in between them? How does that work? You're just gonna ask if he did Chappie? Seem to have the same-ish flow. Yeah, that's like, once I saw that he did both, it was like, oh well, yeah, okay, that makes perfect sense, you know. So, curtain inside, blast goes off. Outside, like airport, the folks inside don't get blasted with shrapnel of large glass window shattering. Interesting. Like, I knew they made chainmail curtains. I didn't know that they would stop. I mean, I'm assuming like small glass particles get through, right? But like giant glass shards, not so much. Is that? Do you have any idea if that is the case? Anyway, and so here was one of the takeaways from the interview I was watching him, right? It's like, I go and I watch a lot of movies and I try to just immerse myself and enjoy the movie, right? But there are movies that I did not enjoy until after supposed to be about, right? Like, oh, the director was trying to portray X. And then it was like, oh, well, yeah, okay. Well, in that case, it's a really good movie, right? Like, but up until that point, I can't get into it. Into some movies. Like, what is the movie? The Royal Tannenbaums? Indirect netting, not direct stopping power. Yeah, so like probably just to stop large pieces of glass, which, you know, works great if you're trying to keep some aesthetic to a building while also trying to protect it. You know, what do I know? Don't cause that to happen in buildings. Maybe. Alright, I think we're at a point where we can start looking to even these petals out. Wow, I took off a lot. This is much thinner at this point. Let's make sure all this adds up. So we'll just use... We're going from a 45-degree seam to a Euro 4-in-1 seam. We just got to make sure that all the pieces add up. That's not correct. And we got to make sure all the petals are the same width. Right? And it should have a much more dice bag look. Alright. Has it used the chainmail and tires for the one over? Yeah. Yep. And I know that Mail Tech was doing some stuff. Like chainmail pillows. I did see those. Chandeliers. Curtains, right? What else? I'd have to go back and look at their website again. But it's just, it's fascinating how, okay, chainmail's not the only 2,000-year-old technology to enjoy, you know, still being relevant in the modern world, right? They still use plate armor and stuff. You know, like tanks and whatnot. I just think it's immensely cool that there's this stuff that I learned to make that's got a 2,000-year history that you know, I just make it in my basement. All right. Alright, why are those two smaller than these? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. That's correct. Alright. European, yeah, it is a flat squid. European police use shark mail in conjunction with tack vest as Kevlar. Does not stop a knife. Hey Peg, how you doing? Kevlar does not stop a knife. Is that what you're telling me? Yes, Kevlar doesn't stop a knife. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, if they don't have a sappy plate, and a sappy plate is that hard clay plate, it's a, well, I think most of them are a type of ceramic something or other. Yeah, they're definitely knife proof for the most part. Kevlar without a sappy plate is definitely, well, I mean, any vest period, if you're not wrapped head to toe in the material, you know, oh yeah, okay, someone could stab you in the face or whatever. Kevlar, okay. Does Kevlar catch a bullet? I'm trying to think. I've worn a few Kevlar vests. But I don't think any of them were rated as being bulletproof. There may be one out there, I don't know. I had a Kevlar helmet that was largely bulletproof. It has been a hot minute since I went out and looked at body armor, so I'm not sure what their ratings are and what's what. I do remember this really cool concept. It was clay discs overlapping one another, kind of like scale mail, and it was much more flexible than like the traditional sappy plates that the military's been using for a while now. But it never got approval. Like, just like, okay, so every year gun manufacturers go out and try and get the contract to replace the M16 for the Army with a different, more reliable, better firearm, a better rifle, right? They compete for the handgun too, but for the rifle, that's far more prolific. Just look up the Neil guy. Yeah, he did Elysium too. Another very South African style movie that's reminiscent of Chappie and District 9. Depends on the thickness of the layer. 3A is around 1. Let's see about how many layers of fabric you use on either. Due to the fact different manufacturers use different fabric. Also, if they're rigid, they'll be more effective and thus need fewer layers due to spalling effects. I think epoxy works well. Yeah. So, the more layers of Kevlar you add, the more bulletproof it gets, which is, I think, my understanding of it. Come here. Alright. So every year gun manufacturers compete for the right to produce the rifles for the American Army, right? And every year everyone gets rejected and the military just sticks with the M16. Right? In the same way, people compete for the body armor contracts and try to come up with better body armor. So this guy, I don't even remember the company's name, but I want to say that he called this stuff Dragon Scale Armor, right? It's, you know, this is like 2004, 2005 we're talking when this came up, but it was plates of clay plates layered on top of one another, just like scale mail. And it was far more, it was a lot lighter. Well, I should say it was significantly lighter. And the flexibility was much greater, right? Alright. A basic slow-moving knife with pressure will keep slicing through Kevlar. That's kind of like the body armor in Dune, right? Like they knife fight, but it's not like a lot of like quick slashes or jabs don't penetrate the shield that they use, but like a slow-moving blade will creep through it. X plates like turtle shells, 3/4 overlap titanium, have it in 6 plate or 0.4 of an inch, 0.1 of an inch blade. Prone didn't stop at 22. Downside was prone, it didn't stop at 22 from the angle of incoming fire to a plate orientation. Yeah. That's the reason for adding chainmail back to their issued protective gear. I think that's awesome. Everybody should use chainmail for protection. All the time. Everywhere they go. It's just, you know, it just makes sense. Especially during the zombie apocalypse. Right? Like, head to toe, covered in chainmail, right? I don't know how you'll eat. Okay. You had to take a knee and take the incoming fire and not lay flat like a sniper. The angle of the scales would divert rounds into the wear of the dragon scale armor. Oh, was that the issue with it? Is that what you're telling me? Yeah. I just knew he didn't get the contract. I know a lot of guys were talking about it because it was like 10 pounds lighter than the crap we were wearing. Like with the plates, the vests, the neck guard, the shoulder pads, the groin protector. That vest was like 35 pounds on its own. And then you have your weapon and all your rounds of ammunition and whatever supplies you had in your ruck, right? And so we're talking like 125 pounds of crap that you're carrying around. Yeah. All right. So any break in the amount of weight we just had on us normally, you know. Oh, and also 9 months out of the year it's 10,000 degrees in the shade. We could, I would have been okay with not carrying around an additional 10 pounds. Just, you know, just being honest. See, that already looks a little better. It's not great, but we can round. We got enough rings over here to round it out a little bit more. And it'll just be kind of this ball-shaped dice bag. It's better than it was. I'm much happier with it this way. You were a turtle and it was great for taking out snipers as bait targets. They can take most rounds, but it was not a replacement for standard armor when most soldiers wanted to drop prone under fire versus taking a knee. Yeah. Come on. Do I even know what I'm doing? Come on. Jeez Louise. Like, it's faster without putting my pliers down. A little bit. But just because these are square wire rings, there's not a lot of room to grab them. So, there. I don't know, maybe it was just that first ring on this side. And these needle nose pliers I have, right? These are like way old. There's no teeth on them really anymore. They're all worn smooth and they're slippery, and the sides don't quite meet up, right? Like, see that line right there? That's the separation of the jaws where they don't lay flat next to each other. So they work, but who knows for how much longer. Alright. Not bleeding and cursing while weaving mail? No. Not me. They're right there. Alright, one more seam. And this will look much more like a dice bag-ish. Like, these are really bulky rings to make a dice bag out of. But gotta use what you have, right? Do I ever retrue my plier jaws with an emery board? No, but that's not a bad idea. Those pliers had teeth in them to begin with, so they are now toothless. But they could, yeah, there's a huge gap in there. Just looking at it real quick. They could definitely do with some upgrading. Tool maintenance, that's a good discussion to have, right? How to maintain your pliers after XYZ. Nope, I've never modified pliers. I've never, I mean, I have a pair of Wubbers, and that's like the most official chainmail plier that I have. Come on, you bastard. Everything else is... I did get a Christmas set of pliers last year. Very nice. Some of the stuff is not really... Like, some of it's for... What do they do? Wire wraps and stuff. Like these. Not really applicable to chainmail, but they're kind of helpful to have around for odd jobs. But they're not really specific to chainmail. I would like to upgrade my pliers and my camera and my lighting. My microphone's pretty solid though, so. And it was a gift from a friend, so I like that aspect about it too. And Frank needs to kind of like, he needs to be out here, right? He needs to be out here looking at me, right? Like looking at me, looking down, looking at, you know, like taking that view in or something. Whoa. And I need to get a better camera for right here. And one that like, I don't want it to sit in front of my face so that I can't be seen on camera, but it's a better view. You'll make me a set here next time you go to the shop. Custom handle grips. You prefer the one? Do I prefer one of each? One of each, but what, buddy? What type of plier are we talking about here? You'll make me a custom set. That's so nice of you. Needle and snub. That's what, I mean, that's what these are. Right? I don't know if I prefer them. I've just never really worked with anything else, you know? For large rings like these. I won't mention any names, but someone popped in one time and said, those aren't chainmail pliers. And I said, okay. I've been making chainmail with them for, let's see here, been doing this since 95. So, I don't know. What is a chainmail plier, I guess, is the question. I just thought it was funny. Because it's like, I've never seen an advertisement for a chainmail plier in my life. Like whatever pliers you have on hand. I used it was a Swiss Army knife, and I didn't use any tool in the Swiss Army knife, but it had a groove on the end of the Swiss Army knife. There was a groove where things fold in and out, right? And I used that groove and like a crappy pair of pliers from my friend's workplace toolbox to fix his wallet chain that he had gotten into a motorcycle accident, and a couple of the rings were a little bit open, and so I was just doing some maintenance on them for him, making the closures a little better just because he had slid on the wallet chain, opening them up a little bit. And either can bend rings or chainmail pliers to me. Me too. I mean, like, I don't know. I understand getting specialty pliers for things like silver, niobium, even anodized aluminum, right? Where you don't want teeth or pressure to ruin the rings. Like, I get that, but it's like, I've got a whole European 6-in-1 galvanized steel shirt out in my shed that I made with definitely with this pair of pliers right here, right? The space for the cutters of the pliers is why they say they are not male pliers versus ones that are just flat jaws and nothing else. Yeah, I mean, everybody's got their opinion, you know. They can be right. I am still gonna use them. All right. Is the top all even now? Nope. One more go around. You know, I'm sure that some people would get mad at me for not tumbling a bunch of my pieces early on that should have been tumbled. You know, I don't know. One can never have too many pliers. That is correct. Almost any hammer will drive a nail. Yeah. Not make every hammer for a nail. Do the intended job better, but many of you are creatures of passion and won't let financial limitations be our constraint. Yeah, right? Like, I think that, like, the first pair of Wubbers I ever saw was listed in some shop for $80. I don't think that's too far off from what they actually are, but I was like, yeah, no, I'm not paying $80 for a pair of pliers. The Ringlord pliers worked very well for me for many years. And I'll be honest, I never once thought of, like, trying to tune them up, you know? Because they have gaps in them now. They're old. Can't use them much, but... they still work in an emergency. They'll work on like 99% of rings. I think I wore them out on like on 20 gauge 1/8 stainless. I was working with a lot of that for a long time, and that's when the edges got roughed up. Your first pair of Lindstroms were from work. Your boss gave you them when she saw your junk dollar store ones working 20 gauge. Gave you 2 sets. You went home and looked, it was a paycheck she had given you. Are Lindstroms that expensive? I have no, like, I don't know what the market price for quality pliers is. You went through many Harbor Freight cheapos for years? Yeah. I go to Harbor Freight if I need a tool that I know I'm only gonna need once. Yeah. Come here. The ones you got, remember, were ESD rated ones. Electrical safety something, dampening. What is ESD? Okay, so we got this back apart, and now it's back together. And it's looking much more like a dice bag. One of the things about this, the square wire, it does not close up much. So we're gonna continue this tube that we've started a little bit more, and then make some dags, and then put some leather cord through those dags, and it should close up nicely after that. It's not, you know, nothing too technical. There. Oh, we still need a queen ring. I gotta find that. Okay. Ta-da! There was a lot that we took out on this. All this, I can't believe it. All that was taken out, well, all right. There were some rings left over from last night, but all that was taken out tonight. Right? And just by reducing the base of the 45-degree seams in the bottom by 2 rings, we went from a huge base that was completely unworkable as a dice bag to this, which is kind of workable as a dice bag. I think if we 2-3 more rows and then create some dags, and it'll be about, oh, here, this is probably better there, yay big. It's not the best dice bag in the world, but it'll get rid of some rings off my desk, and that's all I really care about. Electrical static discharge. I knew electrical was in there. I got one of the words right. I'm proud of myself. Do not transmit any power to the NVGs. All right. Okay. All right, guys. It's been a wonderful hour that I spent with you. Thank you for attending the Church of Chainmail this evening. I do appreciate it. Thank you for helping me spread the good word of Chainmail to all our future disciples. I tell you what, I will be back on hopefully tomorrow night, and if not tomorrow, then at the latest Friday. And we'll finish up this dice bag. All right. In the meantime, be sure to check out MailleWerX.com for all your chainmail themed apparel and accessories, and I will talk to you guys later. You guys have a good night.